gosh, happy new year. We made it. We made it to 2019. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. I kind of celebrated a little bit like when it was like 12 on the East Coast, because that's where my heart is. I miss the East Coast so much. Welcome to the life of a singer-songwriter. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was thinking that since we're entering into a new year, that I could give you guys a little insight on what like introduced me to singing and writing songs. The first thing I'll talk about is me singing, because that's where it all started. My auntie saw something very special in me, and so my 3rd birthday, she purchased a microphone for me that had like a little stand, and I performed for my family. And I actually really do remember that first time of me being in the middle of the living room with my family like surrounding me, and I remember singing. I can't remember what song it was. I want to say it was like Whitney Houston or a gospel song. I can't exactly remember what I was singing, but I remember just standing there with the microphone and just, you know, my little baby bounce. I remember. So that is when I started to sing. And so from there, my mom started to put me in plays, and then I went over to sing in the youth choir, and then I started getting my own solos. And then as I started singing solos, people started coming up to me with different opportunities. And my first studio recording was about either 8 or 9 years old, and I recorded a song for a newspaper called the Sacramento Observer. If you guys ever heard of that newspaper, yes, that was like my first little gig. That was cool, that was fun. And then I just started to, you know, as I started to get more comfortable with like my singing voice, I started to do a lot more like talent shows and stuff at school and things like that. And then I started writing songs technically in like junior high. But the reason why I started writing, period, whether it was poetry or songs, was because I was always misunderstood or just not heard at all. I really didn't understand the effect that my ear had on me until I got older. But just growing up, I really didn't talk as much around people because people didn't really hear me. In my head, it sounds like I'm yelling, but to other people, they could barely hear what I was saying. And so people would not hear me, and they would like talk over me, or I would have to keep repeating myself, and I just got really frustrated with doing that. So a lot of times I would just write my feelings down on paper. And first I started doing that in elementary school. I started writing poetry, and then I went on to I think it was maybe like the end of elementary going into junior high, I actually started to put melodies to it. And then I started getting into writing full-fledged songs. So the reason why I started singing was because my auntie bought me a microphone when I was 3, and from there it was history. And then I started writing poetry and songs because I wanted to be heard. When you listen to songs, you have to listen to the words to understand the song. So I allow my feelings to be heard that way. When I first started writing songs, I was really giving it to you. I actually listened to one of my first projects that I recorded when I was about 18, and I was almost in tears because I was like, dang man, I was going through some stuff, but I was putting it in the song, you know, and I just felt those emotions again. And I was just like, oh, poor baby, like poor baby was just going through it. But I released that energy in music, and to be honest with you, just saying that right now, I honestly feel like music saved my life. Seriously and honestly, because so many times as a teenager, I wanted to die. You know, like I didn't want to be, I no longer wanted to be of this world. People were so rude and cruel to me. You know, it started off with my own family, and then, you know, going to school, it just didn't make it no better. Kids are so mean. So it's like, if you don't have a good home life and then you go to school, you don't have a good school life, it's like, where do you go? Like, what do you do? So I just felt stuck, and I wanted to die. Like, I didn't want to live anymore. And I was able to put that energy on paper. I was able to use my voice to sing. So music definitely saved my life. That's just the intro of why I became a singer and a songwriter. I just want to wish you guys a wonderful 2019. May it be everything that you need, and some of what you want, because sometimes what we want is not what we need. You might get what you want, but it just, just be careful what you ask for. Let's say that. Be careful what you ask for. Welcome to 2019. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of The Life of a Singer-Songwriter. Peace and blessings.